On North Metro TV, it's time to crown a section champion. It all ends here tonight, the final game of the 2020 soccer season. And the Blaine Bengals and Centennial Cougars will decide it here at Centennial High School. Good evening, J.W. Cox alongside John Haddon, Blythe Wheeling here as well. And, John, this is a tremendous matchup between these two teams. The Cougars, obviously, with 12 wins, a top 5 ranking in the state, beat the Bengals in the regular season. But the Bengals have been playing so well down the stretch, and that's borne out by their 2 victories in the section tournament so far.
It'd be hard to draw it up any better for us to have 2 of our teams here in the championship. Great storylines when you look at the individuals and when you look at these programs and the history that they have by themselves and against each other. It's only fitting that they're facing off as the 1-2 tonight.
You see Centennial's run there through the postseason thus far, and that run and this season buoyed in large part by what the sophomore Kendall Stadden has done. We've talked a lot about her in the select games you and I have done together. Anytime Blaine has been on our airwaves, we've talked a lot about Kendall Stadden, John, her size, her ball handling. But it all comes down to that scoring ability, the 25 goals that she's put in, at least a goal in every game, none bigger than the game winner for number 25 with less than 30 seconds to go. She has been a joy to watch, and she is something that will cause a lot of problems for Northwest Suburban Conference teams, at least for the next couple years.
She's a machine. 25 goals as a sophomore. What a spectacular season, and it's only a shame that it does end here, because who knows how far she could take this team if they were to win tonight. She's got more time left, but it would be a great accomplishment for her to lead the Bengals over this storied Cougar team.
Looking for their first section title since 2018. A big part of it also to the success of Kendall Stadden has been Sammy Proul. John, the senior, has helped lead the way, and she'll be on the wing. She had the setup pass to Stadden for the winner against Andover. Sammy Proul makes this engine go too on offense. You can't do it yourself.
Yeah, she's sometimes overshadowed, you might say, by Kendall Stadden, but she has been a huge part of what this team has been able to do. It's not just one person. Even though the stats make it look that way with Stadden, it's not just one person, and Prue is one of the big-time players for this Bengal team.
Speaking of overshadowing, there's been one player over the last several years that's overshadowed just about everybody in the Northwest Suburban Conference, and that is Kaia Harper for the Centennial Cougars, John. She can get it done in so many different ways. She also distributes. She can hit it from distance. She has been an absolute joy to watch, and she gets one more chance here at home to try and win another section title.
25 goals for her as well, so they're even in that category when you compare the top 2 scorers, but 11 assists, and Harper has absolutely taken it up another level this season when it comes to distributing the ball. The offense runs through her so often, and you'll look to see her controlling, dribbling quite a bit, and then finding her teammates as much as she calls her own number.
She's going on to play Division I soccer, and the numbers here in high school bear that out. Just incredible. 32 and 32 her first 2 seasons, then coming here and at least 23 goals in every single year. Kaia Harper, a tremendous Miss Soccer finalist, and would be a well-deserved winner of that award. These 2 teams have met before in the postseason. 2019, they met a year ago. It was the semifinals. They met all the way back in 2012 as well. A little more at stake that day. It was the state tournament in 2012. Take a look at how things turned out. There is your second goal of the game, as that one went off the foot of Taylor Greathouse off the corner kick. 15:35 to go in the second. Montion had the assist on the corner, and Greathouse put it right out of the air that time. Able to get it in for the Bengals' second goal. It was Greathouse's first of the season. And here's how they went up 1-0. Montion on the breakaway looked very relaxed, drew the goalie out, made it past the defender, and put it in the back left corner of the net. And that would have been enough. The second goal just gave them a little bit of breathing room as they shut down Centennial. First time the Centennial Cougars held without a goal all season, and it comes here in quarterfinal action. This is now for the latest you need to know about this one in 2020. Down to Blythe Wheelie. Blythe?
Thanks, guys. Down here on the field, you can certainly tell it's the playoffs. You feel those nerves, but being able to talk to both of these coaches, asking them, how are they going to overcome these weather circumstances here today? Coach Flohaug was telling me that they've practiced here yesterday, making sure that they were looking for those 2-touch passes, making sure they're able to keep control of this ball. Coach Zachman on the other side telling me that they're not worried too much about the weather. They're looking at it as an advantage, this great equalizer the weather has brought. But we know both of these teams, they have a standout player. Flohaug was talking of how they're going to shut down Stadden and make sure that she isn't a part of this game, making sure she isn't able to turn as well as she's able to in all these other ones and face up to goal. But heading on over, Zachman was telling me that to shut down Harper, they're making sure that they're going to man mark her throughout this game. You'll see both of these teams looking to take out their top players, but everyone's excited, the championship game, and this will end it all, guys.
That's right. This is what it comes down to. Thanks a lot, Blythe. And, John, she capped it up pretty well. This will end it all. There's nothing else after this. Usually we're playing for a shot at the state tournament to play indoors. It would be a lot warmer. Nothing after this. It's just section title on the line. A lot of pride out there. And I couldn't play through these weather conditions. I don't know how they're going to do it. We saw them do it a few days ago. It was just as cold and a little snowier, too. So they're mentally tough and tougher than us.
No kidding. There's only a couple of players in the starting lineup between the two teams that are wearing full pants. Most are just going with the high socks and the shorts tonight. Looks like everyone's got sleeves on their arms. I would be in a parka, snow pants. I don't know what you're allowed to play in, but as much as they would let me put on, that's what I would be going with. It's going to be unpleasant, but they can't think about that. They have to block that out and focus only on trying to get one last win this season.
Well, they were waiting on the officials. They've been standing out there on the field now for almost the whole report from Blythe right there. Now we finally got the officials out here to start this one. Cougars are 12-1-0, number 4 in the state in Class 2A, second in the Northwest Suburban Conference. Bengals 8-3-2, fifth in the Northwest Suburban Conference. The only team, by the way, in the Northwest Suburban Conference that did not lose to the Champlain Park Rebels. That was your Blaine Bengals, as they tied the Champlain Park Rebels, the only blemish on the Champlain Park schedule this season. Centennial, their only blemish, the loss to those same Rebels. Best on best. 2 25-goal scorers at the top of both of these teams, and a Section 7-2A title on the line. Now we're waiting for something else, and they're still cold.
We had a late-arriving crowd, late-arriving ref to go with it. Everyone's sitting in their cars waiting until the last second, where these young ladies have been out warming for the last hour. And by warming, I mean moving their bodies around to stay warm out on the field.
Now we roll. Third time in the postseason these two teams met, have since 2012. That 2012 matchup, that's the note to underscore all of it. That's actually the last time the Bengals have come away with a victory in this matchup. A few ties in there, but it's been dominated ever since that loss for the Cougars by the Centennial Cougars.
And that's not unique to this matchup. Centennial has been a fantastic program throughout that entire time. They've defeated just about everyone they've faced during that period.
Cougars on defense first. The defense has been a huge part of what they've been able to do this year. 7 shutouts as they have Jenna Lang back in net. She's been very good, close to 89% on the save percentage, but the defense in front of her also helps keeps her clean.
Yeah, I think that's a great call-up between Askirka and Cubes, and then I really like Hamsky up the sideline for the most part. I think Allison has played an outstanding wing type at the defense and midfielder position throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, the Cougars less than a goal allowed per game with that defense, and Lang, as you see her scoop it up for the first time at the back end of it. The Bengals, meanwhile, they score just over 3 goals per game. Plenty of scoring. Kendall Stadden with the 25. She's had multiple 2-goal games. She's had the bulk of that scoring, but a goal in every game as the Cougars try and drive deep down the field for the first time here tonight. We've talked about it, obviously. It's windy, it's cold. It's going to be right around 32 degrees for the rest of the evening. Incidentally, not dipping very far. I saw on the forecast, we're not going to change temperature enough. It's cold enough, and we're just going to stay right there for the most part for this game. Out of bounds, Bengals with the throw-in.
You mentioned Stadden kind of spreading out the scoring throughout the course of the year, but how reminiscent is it of what we saw when Kaia Harper came to Centennial, and we were so surprised that this sophomore was going to contribute. That's really exciting for everyone else on the team to think, I get to play with her for another year or two. People are feeling that way about Stadden as well, and even though stylistically they're not necessarily getting their goals the same way all of the time, they both are that pure goal scorer type.
Ball leaks through the Cougar defense as we're just over 2 minutes gone in this one. Interesting to watch Stadden, too. It's not just that she's 5'10" and basically a head taller than most of the players out on the field. She also kind of comports herself like a leader already. You like that, even though she's a sophomore, you know she's going to be the focal point, and she brings that leadership quality to it. You can just see in the way her teammates rally around her and the way she conducts herself on the field as well.
Well, JW, I know I've seen a lot more of Centennial this season. Do you feel like you've seen more of Blaine in the games that you've covered?
It's kind of a mix. I mean, yeah, I think I've seen them as almost equal, but some big moments, I think, for the Blaine Bengals. Obviously, I was there for their victory in the semifinals that was thrilling over Andover, their great regular season closing game. It was a 4-4 tie, and a lot of people might think, oh, well, it's a tie. You're not going to celebrate that too much. But that was a rough stretch that they went through at the end of the year and able to tie the team that would win the Northwest Suburban Conference title, coming back from a couple of deficits, a 2-goal deficit, a 1-goal deficit. The Bengals showed people some things in that one and primed themselves for this run to the section title. Taken away. That was Stadden back defensively. She'll send it up ahead looking for Jada Kennedy, but the first foot to it is Sydney Cubes for the Centennial Cougars.
And we've touched a lot on those two, and well-deserved based on the performances they've put up throughout the course of the season, but there's 20 other people out on the field, and who knows who's going to be the hero in this championship matchup. There are so many names that you could point to that could do it. It's not like, you know, the Cougars and Bengals only scored 25 goals each this season. They scored a whole lot more than that, and that's just the contribution that those two have come with.
But if you want to give an edge in that area, because you're absolutely right, you get to this point and everybody knows who is, and you heard Blythe talk about it, both coaches circling in on the top players for each team in Stadden and Harper. But the team with the advantage of maybe more potential scorers is definitely the Centennial Cougars in this game, as you look at the number of different players that have scored goals, scored multiple goals, up and down, several with 3, with 4, with 5, even with 6. This was a team that averaged 5.9 goals per game if you just put all their goals in. But even if you take out that 22 goals they scored in one game against Park Center, they still averaged over 4 goals per game. It's a very balanced and potent offense that the Blaine Bengals are going to have to deal with here today.
Yeah, I think when you have 15 different players score a goal in one particular game like they did in that matchup against Park Center, everyone's going to have a nice little stat sheet with that balance. I mean, heck, Jenna Lang got a goal in that game. So there has been goals to go around, but you even look at the quarterfinals of the postseason, they put up 10 goals, did Centennial. So they've done a really nice job of continuing that scoring. And I know in that 10-goal game, Harper only had 1. So it was players like Hamsky who had 2, Prairie who had 2.
Jada Kennedy out to Sammy Proul, far side, back to Kennedy, back to Proul. Chance at Lang, gets past Lang, shoots it in, and it's knocked away by Cubes and company.
That's why when we talk about Lang, you have to talk about the players who are normally in front of her. Here, they literally back her up by getting behind her after she stepped out to be aggressive on defense. Great recovery by the D to put a wall up in front of Prue. Yeah, that was Cubes, no doubt.
Proul will send it in from the corner, and the header goes too high, so they'll survive that first corner, but an excellent attack from the Blaine Bengals. So the Bengals, the first best chance. And the Cougars trying to pull it out of their own end for the first time here.
It's funny, we were talking about who are the other Cougar players that are going to score, and then here comes Sammy Prue with a big opportunity. Jada Kennedy has scored a few goals this season. Alina Schillo also with a few goals this season. So there are other players on both sides who could be the hero tonight, and those might be some of the more likely players on the Bengals side. If you're the Cougars, you look at maybe Morgan O'Hearn, you look at Lauren Allis, Summer Francis has had some big moments, Sydney Nelson, Lindsey Wilson. There's a lot of names that come to mind. I think either of the Bordsons, probably more likely Brooklyn than Brittany, and then you factor in that they don't even have the services of Tatum Treadle, who was supposed to be that other striker up at the top at the beginning of the season before she tore her ACL.
And Summer Francis had a big goal when these two teams met in the regular season, all the way back about 21 days ago at the start of October. That's 3 goals from Kaia Harper and 1 from Summer Francis in a 4-2 victory.
think what's interesting right now is you are seeing a very balanced play field, maybe even in favor of the Blaine Bengals to start this match. And that is not something that the Cougars have dealt with a ton this season. They have usually been able to control the unofficial time of possession throughout the course of a soccer match.
Case in point, that's the first time we've seen Tess Inlow back there in net do much of anything, the keeper for the Blaine Bengals. Again, this ball driven up the far side. Sammy Proul taken down. It drops back to Schillow, and it's knocked up and through. Alina Schillow. Make that Claire Proul, excuse me, but a whistle's coming in. And the offside had been called.
So that had to have been delayed because it was a pass back.
Yeah, it had to be on Sammy Proul up first, the one who was offside. And the middle official just didn't see the flag yet. They're pretty tight. I don't know where there would be an offsides, to your point, after this.
Yeah, because there's no pass after that.
But as it is, a ball that hit the back of the net off the foot of Claire Proul, waved away.
That's heartbreaking for Blaine. And yeah, there's plenty of time, and you should be able to put it in the rearview mirror. But what a boon it would have been to go up 1-0 in this road game for the Bengals.
And here come the Cougars right back, but Summer Francis is going to be whistled here a little too aggressive. It's going to bring a free kick back. And that's one of those that looks a little bit worse because the guys on the sideline don't have a whistle, right?
Mm-hmm.
If all of us had looked towards the flag, I'm sure it was up early, but play continuing, and then you eventually do get the whistle. So clearly fans in the stands that have made their way in here bundled up for this one, the finale of this season. Proul trying to find her way past the defense, made it past one defender. Ran back into the Cougar defense.
So have you been out at Centennial since they put these dividers in the stands?
I had not.
Okay.
None of the soccer games I've been to featured that.
I think it's interesting because so few people are sitting in that area to help people social distance. And then also, it's the middle of the field. It seems like those would be the best seats.
As I was walking up, it took me 3 rows to realize there was open space, because there's so many of them. I thought it was kind of just closed off. But yeah, if you look at it, that's why they're there. Maybe it's creating a gulf between Cougar fans and Bengal fans.
I think that was already there.
Yeah, this is the rivalry of rivalries. And again, the Bengals trying to break up a long 8-year stretch without a victory. Jada Kennedy wrestling past the defender, only to have Brittany Boardson rip it back away, send it upfield. There are a lot of white shirts, John, that have been back defensively and not looking to do too much else, keeping those strikes down the field at a minimum so far for these Centennial Cougars here as we hit the 29-40 mark in the first half.
Well, if there's one thing we know Centennial likes to do, they like to send it up ahead like this and let their speedsters up front run underneath the ball. And with all those white jerseys back there, it's been tough to find space. And usually you get one defender who can kind of cut down and slow down the offensive player, and then the other defender can just focus on getting to the ball as fast as possible. That makes it really tough when you're going against 2 defenders trying to track down a ball.
Cougar throw in, tight quarters there, trying to work Kaia Harper with the throw in from Ali Hamsky. Hamsky will go back this time. Pop back to her. As Proul comes up to pressure, they do get it to Harper. Kaia sends the left-footed boot on, and it's saved with a diving left-hand dive for Tess Inlow.
That was a really long shot from Harper. Usually she can get much closer, and I think maybe that speaks to how many defenders we have out there again. The ball did bounce awkwardly.
So it's going to be a corner for the Cougars for the first time. Lauren Alice, the state semifinal hero from a year ago, will take this one.
Now they have a trick play. It looks like they were about to run it, and it wasn't open, so they're just going to go with a straight boot.
Long backside of the post, and a great header to angle it back towards the middle. And eventually a whistle will bring it to a stop and get us a goal kick from the Blaine Bengals. An excellent run at it on a fairly good set piece there from Alice.
I do believe Harper, was the one who got the head on it, but she was at a tough angle to try and put that in from where she received it. Get another look here.
Yep, Harper goes high, but there's no way from right there, you're right, to be able to curl that in. Looking for the second touch really there to redirect. And there's all Bengals around that one.
Was Francis getting physical again? She's ready for hockey season, I think.
Bengals reversing field. Just do get it tipped off a defender. Bengal ball, just about 13 minutes gone on this frigid day here at Centennial High School.
Who's ready for 2 more weeks of high school football? 3 more weeks? How many we got left?
Oh,
Plus
yeah,
playoffs?
4 weeks, right? Yep, it's only been 2 weeks of high school football.
I know that
it is supposed to warm up by next Friday.
Sure.
Though, so.
Our Saturday game has already been relocated because I'm guessing because of the field conditions at Blaine.
It did go from a non-turf field to a turf field, so that would seem to be the indication. Cougars extricated from their zone. McKenna Monson up the near side. Met at midfield. It deflects back. Kendall Stadden a chance to go get this one. Stadden around a defender. Stadden not bothered by the contact. Stadden again tries to put the left foot on it, and it's just tapped away. Enough defensive work back there. Keep it away from Kendall
And that
Stadden.
kind of mirrored what I talked about on the defense on the other side. When was Stadden just one-on-one with the defender? At no point, right? She had at least 2 defenders with her at all time. They finally run her off the ball, and then there's a third defender ready to boot it away at that point.
Kaia Harper trying to find some space as she reverses field, trying to get away from Jada Kennedy, who's right there, and then Sammy Proul runs into her as the help, and it'll be a free kick for the Cougars.
So this is one of those classic games where you have 2 very good teams, and you think, wow, they're averaging over 9 goals a game when you combine their 2 scoring outputs for the season. But we could see a very low-scoring game because these 2 teams know how to play defense.
Just misplayed the wrong way by the Bengal defense off the head, so it drives things a little bit deeper towards the Cougar end. Proul trying to work it up the sideline, and just does push it near the bench. Domain of head coach Scott Zachman and company over there.
Yeah, they built themselves a little tent community.
This hasn't always been a possible matchup, as would be noted by that 2012 state tournament appearance. Coach Zachman's squad and Coach Ginger Flohaug, the legend, on the other side, not always in the same section. Over the years, it's been a Blaine program, though, that's won 47 games now over the last 4 years. That, well, they've got a little ways to go with what Coach Flohaug has done since 2004 and really over the last 12 years when they've become one of the dominant programs in the state. And that is the other storyline to watch. Obviously, seniors on the field with their final games of the year. But as we've talked about throughout the season, Coach Flohaug coming down to the end of her Centennial story here as well.
Well, on the field, certainly. To stay with the program, just won't be coaching the girls anymore with her kids moving up to this level.
One drives deep towards Sammy Proul. And that whistle is going to be on the Cougars as Lauren Ollis got into the kitchen of a Bengal.
Yeah, she upended Shillow that time.
Sammy Proul will take the free kick.
This is a great spot to be kicking from if you're Proul.
Right in towards Lang, though. Didn't get the redirect on it. So nothing off that. Each team with a corner. Each team a couple of chances in towards the net with 23 minutes to go in this first half. We're still scoreless.
That was a dangerous low ball, though. I mean, you said no redirect. All it takes is a little tap from any Blaine player along the way, and that throws Lang off enough that she's not going to be able to make a stop. I'm surprised there wasn't a defender who wasn't able to slow down or get in front of that in some way.
Kaia Harper turns on the Jets, puts a shot on goal, and it's saved away. And the Bengals will live to fight another day. Tessenlow got just enough of that to punch it out, and there was no rebound opportunity soon enough.
Another look here. Strong strike. It is knocked down, but really you want to secure that if you're Enlow. That's a really dangerous ball out there for the Blaine Bengals, and Centennial just unable to capitalize on that opportunity. Now, Enlow will set up for the corner after another attempt went wide. Really haven't seen a lot of kicks from our goalkeepers at this point in the match.
These two teams both have had their moments where the defense has helped carry the day. The Cougars, as mentioned, 7 shutouts on the year. One of the best defenses right there, nip and tuck with the Champlain Park Rebels in the conference. Jay Kennedy at the foot up high to knock that one down. Kennedy scored the game-tying goal against Andover when they went down 1-0 early. Started the battle back before Stadden had the PK, and then of course the Stadden heroics for the winner late. Lindsey Wilson hot foots it into this game, trying to get warm as she runs in. Stadden took it away.
You see how crazy this crowd gets when she gets the ball before she gets to midfield. I mean, they know what she's capable of. So as soon as she touches it, the Blaine fans light up.
And they have stayed lit, chanting their way through the first 20 minutes of this one. There's Harper. Will speed past the defender. She's got plenty of teammates there. Rolls it towards the net and wide. That will trickle out.
I'll tell you, the snow really slows the ball down on those kicks out of bounds, so it's a bit helpful.
One less place you need a ball kid here on this frigid day.
They do have a lot of them, though, at least on that side. No, on both sides. 2 in each end zone.
Through the midfield, knocked down. That one knocked down, but right back to Stadden. Stadden steps around a defender. Proul to the left. Gets that turn back, shoots, fires, and wide. So the Cougars do a good job recovering against Kendall Stadden, the sophomore sensation. And with 20 and a half to go in this first half, we stay scoreless. Cougars, as we mentioned off the top, they started out 5-0 on this season. Their lone loss, a 1-goal defeat for the Champlain Park Rebels. Kaia Harper running on it, saved by Tess Inlow. Harper just tried the little tap, and Inlow gets the sliding boot to throw it away.
And that's the MO for Harper. I mean, that's the play she does all the time, but she just didn't get enough to redirect it slightly away from the keeper. Or she could have even lifted it up and over her if she'd been able to get under the ball correctly. But it's all happening real time, full speed.
Bordson looking to direct towards the net, just had it poked away as we go under 20 minutes left here in this first half. Cougars then, of course, rattling off 7 straight wins since that loss in an emphatic fashion as Schillo pushes it up to midfield. Cougars able to send it back.
Well, Centennial starting to jump the route a little bit. They see the passes want to go to Stadden, so they're lining up to jump in front of her when they think the ball might be headed her way.
Sydney Cubes tracks it down. That little touch and a great save with the right foot.
It was a little more than a poke. I mean, she got decent strength behind that.
Bengal hits the deck. No call forthcoming. Ball streaks free to Bordson on the far side. And substitutions coming in before this Cougar throw-in.
I think if you feel comfortable with your depth for either of these coaches, you really want to rotate people in as much as possible because it is so cold out here. You want to keep the players that are on the bench warm if possible in case they are needed for a longer stint of play.
Back and forth near midfield. Whistle will give the free kick opportunity to the Cougars.
Yeah, they just keep trying to run it out there as fast as possible. That time didn't really work out with all the defense that was back.
Free ball in the middle. Claire Proul was the first one to it. Starts it back to Stadden, a little pop over her head. Nobody home, surrounded instead by plenty of black and red. Back up to Alice. Bumped by Shiloh. And that will get a free kick. Eventually the whistle came.
Well, we saw that exact same exchange reversed earlier when Alice ran over Shiloh. So, real physical play between those two on that side of the field.
Something about Bengals and Cougars, you get physical play. Whether it's hockey, football, I guess you don't see it much in baseball, but you know what I mean. Drive towards the front of the box.
It's probably best if they control themselves at baseball. You know, those metal bats would not be.
Right. Harper doing Harper things. Winds her way around, puts it in front, and a chance on the backside just goes awry.
That looked like me playing foosball. It just rolls past all my guys, and I can't turn it fast enough to get someone to put a foot on it. That seemed like it slid right past 4 different Centennial players. See if we can get a better look at the angle. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, just eluded all of them, even though Harper put it exactly where she probably would have wanted to, because no one could close the gap to get in there. And maybe that's because there were too many of them, and it was one of those, I thought this person was going to get it, so I didn't really go hard.
16 and a half to go here in this first half of play. Since that loss to Champlain Park, all the Cougars have done is outscore their opponents 32-5. 3 times they held their opponents to 1 goal. 3 times they have shut out their opponents in the previous 7. Free ball. Proul with the quick touch and then taken away by Ali Hamsky.
Well, that time they didn't get super physical. They kind of bounced off each other, and then there was hesitation from Blaine. None from Centennial. They got the ball out. But here comes Blaine again.
Pascarella looking for space. Delivers to the middle. Proul. Good winding ball down.
Did Hamsky touch that?
It looked like Hamsky touched it, and that's going to be a corner. Hamsky leaned down.
You'd like to think that she should have the vision and the understanding of who's behind her and where the rest of the opposition is, but she did what she thought was best to just clear that away in case it was crossed for someone. Just unlucky on her end that there really wasn't anyone there.
Ball bouncing into the front of the box. Plenty of Cougars around it, but still need a sharp clear here. Not out of danger as Proul comes back in. Lofts one high right up to Lang, and she'll pluck it out of the air with a fair catch.
Lang could have gotten that right away, and yet a defender stepped in front, deflected it away, and we get this sort of bouncing ball action inside the box.
Bengals pushing up, trying to pressure that. The defense played it back towards the middle. Harper looking for Hamsky running up the right side. Sticks it up ahead for Alice. A little too strong, allows the defense of Janessa Bennett to walk over to it.
I think Alice is more of a facilitator, more of a midfielder than a striker, so she's not going to be able to run onto that ball as well as maybe some of the other players if they're up at the top at that point.
Booted back, Bengals keeping the pressure on to the middle just past Pascarella. And that was the intended target for the Bengals. Cougars clear only as far as Lauren Bosley, one of the captains for this Bengals squad. So we come up towards 14 minutes to go in a scoreless first half. Stadden v. Harper right there for a moment, as those two have locked up a couple of times already in this one. Quick touch from Kennedy, back to Kennedy. Kennedy shoots, and that one will go well wide. Good strike, that's near, maybe a little tighter than where she scored the game-tying goal early against Andover. Stays scoreless here.
There were some big-time scores. The fact that you can just remember what happened in that game as specifically as you can shows how much drama there was in the semifinals for the Bengals just to get here. What a hill to climb to beat Andover, which has been so tough for teams to do this season, and then come here and have to face the Centennial team.
A bouncing ball that drives way too close for comfort for the Cougars. Eventually struck all the way back to Lang to play it.
I'm actually surprised we're not seeing more kind of just lofted balls towards the goalkeepers. You know, with this wet surface, all it takes is one slip, and a ball that is normally saved is headed in. And it's been hard, especially for Centennial, to get real deep on offense to this point.
Couple of strikes down. They scored in the first 13 minutes of that regular season matchup. Kaia Harper's first of 2 in a first half. Scored inside the 15-minute mark to make it 2-0. Acrobatic move for Lindsey Wilson to not end up down on the deck there. Bengal ball from midfield. That section semi matchup a year ago, Cougars took a 2-0 lead in the first half of that one. Earlier scoring in the more recent matchups. A whistle against the Cougars again.
Yeah, there was a little push there. I thought they might let them play on because Blaine had possession, but they were working in the wrong direction if you're Blaine. So the official gives the free kick to the Bengals.
Bengals actually got on the board first back in 2012. Of course, they were the only team that got on the board back in 2012 in that 2-0 victory, and they scored in the first half. Cougar taken down here, and they'll have the deep free kick as we're under 12 minutes to play.
I know you said the temperature wasn't going to dip, but it feels like it's getting colder. Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't given the feels like temperature with the wind chill today as we were on.
It is a breezy day.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have any flags. There's it. Yeah, it's blowing.
Yeah, so the wind is what's doing it to us. I think the air temperature, not that I always have to be right, John, but I think the air temperature holding steady there in the low 30s, but it feels below that.
You don't have to be, but you are. So
it's amazing,
yeah.
right? All finds its way all the way through. Claire Poole, the senior captain, one of the captains, always hawkishly after the ball with the speed that she can bring. Nobody with much control here over the last 45 seconds or so as we're under 11 to play in the first half. Shillo trying to change that. Runs it up on the far side looking for Madla Sanchez. Alejandra Madla Sanchez taking over on this near side wing. She has 2 goals and an assist on this season. Deep throw in for the Bengals. Drops to Kennedy. Immediately swarmed by 3 defenders, and they clear it up the near side. Foot race that Bosley wins for the Bengals. Again, chipped deeper. Madla Sanchez can't hang on to it. 10-minute mark. So as good as both of these teams are, John, I think this is still fairly evenly matched. But you're the Blaine Bengals. You haven't won in 8 years against your rival Cougars. You're coming in on their field. You got to be feeling good as Summer Francis tries to weave her way through here. And the loose ball pops over to the right side. And Alice taken down in the box. Just about to say you got to be feeling good in a game where you haven't given up anything in the first half, and now you get a penalty kick.
I would have felt good the first, 30 minutes of this half. But right now, if you're Blaine, you're not feeling very good. That's really disappointing. See Alice come onto the ball, gets tripped up.
A year ago, a little bit later, right around actually. Similar time at US Bank Stadium, state semifinals. Lauren Alice, as now they're picking it up.
Just moving it to the spot where the...
No, it's not going to be a penalty kick. We don't know what they're doing.
Offsides.
And the offsides instead. So that waves it all off. Take the story away. The story of Lauren Alice sending her team to a state title game with a penalty kick. The story of the Bengals in 2012 surviving a penalty kick. A great save by their keeper.
There we go.
Now onside. That's Khyah. Khyah denied. And that was Kendall Stadden.
Yeah, star on star.
Defensively getting back. Harper again through the middle, trying to find possession.
Now that's kind of what worked for Centennial's opponent in the second round. Anoka didn't win the game, but they did a lot of that. They put one of their star players with the speed back defensively to try and shadow Harper as much as possible and challenge her with size, very similar to what Stadden just did.
Harper trails it deep into the corner. It's out for a deep throw in for the Cougars. Watch the flag. Well, it never went up, but
he didn't.
There is best on best right there. Stadden takes that 5'10" step around the shorter Kaia Harper and gets the foot in front. Throw into the foot of Harper with Stadden on her. Sammy Prule's the one who picks her pocket, double teams, and takes it away. So you are the Bengals, and you're still feeling good about the fact that you'd be the underdog in this one, and with 8 minutes to go in the first half, still scoreless.
Well, I think both coaches, both sets of players have something to be relieved about and frustrated, right? Blaine feels like they should have had a goal. Centennial feels like they should have had a penalty kick, which is almost a sure goal. And yet here we are, still scoreless.
Kennedy, out of the mist of two defenders, comes away cleanly with it, but fires it down, and it's deflected right back. Taps to her toe again. She sends a dangling ball to the crossbar, and it's plucked away by Lang.
That happened so quick, and what a pinpoint shot she took from that distance to put it in the most challenging spot for Lang, who was able to answer the bell.
That is such a hard save, as you note, for a keeper. Got to go to the top of the leap, but the ball diving down.
You got to time it just right. Full extension. Very nice.
Settles in, no rebound chance there as we hit the 7-minute mark of half number one. Bengals at this point not even committing Kendall Stadden to that offensive side as she is just hanging back defensively with Kaia Harper.
Well, and that might be a tactic to try and confuse Centennial's defense in a way that they don't know who to spot up on. Their whole defensive plan was designed around keeping track of Stadden. If Stadden's not in the offense, how does everyone line up? Do they have a plan for that?
So far, they've survived. Stadden, one of two, hanging back at midfield right now. The Bengals try and crush forward to that far corner. It's taken away by the foot of Molly Clausen, but the Cougars able to send it deep again. A throw in near midfield. Under 6 minutes to go.
You know, and I think the fact that it's bent that way, it still feels to me like Blaine has had the better first half. And yet, Blaine is taking their top player, moving them back to make sure that they cover Harper. That's a sure sign of respect for the talent that Kaia Harper has, in my opinion.
And it will be, oh, you're absolutely right, to take her out of the offense. It'll be interesting to watch when that adjustment comes, because you have to figure if this is still a tight game, certainly a scoreless game, and you're looking at maybe one goal to win it or needing a goal to tie it. They can't keep Stadden back too long. You wouldn't figure. Chip shot of a free kick will go wide. Good attempt from Sydney Cubes. Back with the goal kick for Enlow. Just under 80% for Tess Enlow. She shared time with Madison Way. Ball was free for a moment. Stadden changes the field with one quick right-footed boot.
Ooh, I'm surprised we didn't have a stoppage there.
Play on.
Free kick.
The Cougars come away with it. Brooklyn Bordson was nearly tripped down. All is far side one-on-one. And it trickles out. It'll be a corner kick for the Cougars with under 4.5 to go here in this first half.
She's the corner kick facilitator, so no surprise that she was angling to get that shot. put it right off the defender.
Last time they came close off the head of Kaia Harper, just couldn't get the redirect. Another good one from Alice, but to a Bengal foot first.
For all the tricky plays we've seen from Centennial, they've been fairly standard, fairly conservative on their first couple of boots from the corner.
Well, they were in that head-to-head matchup against the Bengals, too, that we called. It just seems like maybe that was an early season tactic.
Well, we did see teams make adjustments. We saw teams that had obviously seen the film and knew, okay, this is coming, and they put new wrinkles in to try and get around that.
All right, the Cougars had a corner in here in the final 4 minutes to try and do something with. Now from just past midfield, Stadden. Try and give the Bengals a chance. Puts it right of Lang. Poole has it drop, but just deflect out. Pressure applied for the Bengals by Clausen, but out of bounds for a Cougar throw-in. 3 minutes to go, first half. This one to Stadden. Space to run up, and she still distributes. Back to her in the middle. Take that long strike, and it continues to sail through the football uprights. If there was ever a game, John, that they maybe wouldn't want to take a halftime break, this might be it.
Just keep going.
Just keep rolling. Spin that clock. Impressive leg.
I don't think the band is coming out at halftime, so
No.
it'll probably be a pretty quick one.
I don't think we have the Cougarettes or the Bengalettes, assuming that's what they call them because they're the Pantherettes at Spring Lake Park.
Aren't they the Bengals?
Bengals, maybe?
I believe that's what you're looking for. It is the Bengalettes. That's what the
Bengalettes.
truck is telling us. I feel like they missed an opportunity there.
They also apparently keep it pretty generic and go dance team as well, as this one's played through by Monson. But there is Stadden in the middle. Under 2 to play.
I think this is the most stifled I've seen Centennial in a half of soccer this season. I haven't seen every one of their big-time matchups, but they have found their offense hard to come by throughout this half.
And just chances. This season has been marked by this offense finding the ability to create chance after chance. Shillo knocks it away. But you're absolutely right. There have been a handful, couple off of set pieces, but not the normal Cougar offense we've seen.
This doesn't feel like a Blaine team that's trying to hang around. This is a Blaine team that's dictating this first half of play.
Step for step, these two rivals in this section title game down to the wire here in the first half. And that trip put Kennedy to the turf. Give the Bengals a free kick here. Stad just this time a little bit deeper. The toenail got her. Dangerous lining ball touched by the Cougars. Lang might have had a chance to come up and play that. Deflected out by Bosley. 20 seconds to go. Do the Cougars have one more strike from this three-quarter field throw-in? Instead, it's Stadden wants to come up and get her one more strike. Bounces back to her, 10 seconds to work. Fed up ahead, looking for Poole, not gonna find her. And this one will be a scoreless game at the half. The battle between the Cougars and the Bengals here in the section title game of 7-2A. No closer to being decided on the scoreboard than we were when we started. Locked at 0. Cougars and Bengals as we hit the half here on North Metro TV. Well, there it is, high-level soccer being played here in Section 7-2A, and two very good teams evenly matched here to try and determine who wins the last game of the year. First half ends in a 0-0 score. There were chances early for the Blaine Bengals, and a lot of Blaine Bengals, John, early able to drive down and, well, at least draw a couple of opportunities. Claire Poole, that one was deemed offsides before that one hit the back of the net off the foot of her sister. Or rather, Sammy was the one who went down and got it to Claire, who put it into the back of the net. Cougar chances came from number 7, Kaia Harper, sending it down, and Tess Inlow equal to the task more than once so far in this game. This one, the nicest of the saves so far for Inlow, who's kept the sheet clean through one half of play. Kendall Stadden got in on the defensive act too to keep Inlow clear, stepping in front of the other 25-goal scorer out on the field. Jada Kennedy nearly made this 1-0 Bengals. Jenna Lang made that big save as well. The goaltenders, John, drawing the plaudits so far, in the defense as well. But as you said it, the Bengals playing step for step with the Cougars, certainly looking like a team that can win this game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a game that, you know, it seems like they're impersonating teams that can score because they've had opportunities. Some have ended up in the back of the net, but yet we have no score. We're seeing an Anoka team that might be impersonating, or excuse me, Bengal team that might be impersonating Anoka and what they did defensively against Centennial in the last round. And then I've been accused of impersonating Blythe Whaley tonight because I was mistaken for her in the press box for some reason. So it's been an odd night, but it's a championship night, and really good soccer in that first half of play.
Really good soccer, and we got 40 more minutes of it at least on the other side. Bengals and Cougars scoreless after 1 here from Centennial on North Metro TV. Back with you at Centennial High School. J.W. Cox, John Haddon, Blythe Whaley, and a 0-0 game here between the Bengals and Cougars. Both coaches getting their adjustments in, and Blythe had a conversation to see what the adjustments needed to be in the second half. Blythe?
Thanks, guys. Talking with Coach Flohaug here at halftime, she said she was surprised to see Stadden man-marking Harper. Of course, that seems to be working here for the Bengals. But she says she needs her team to recognize that. Possibly you're going to use Kaia as a decoy here in the second half and making sure they have those runners coming in on those balls she's able to send up. Coach Zachman saying, of course, he's happy with how Stadden's been able to shut down some of Harper's opportunities up top. But what he's looking for in the second half is his team to be patient. These ladies need to know that, yes, Stadden isn't all the way up top, but they have other players that are able to find the back of the net. This is going to be a second half full of energy as this comes down to everything.
Energy, and they need to give it everything. Blythe, thank you very much as the Bengals and Cougars get set for this final 40 minutes of regulation here in 2020. The season that you weren't sure if it was going to happen gets the go-ahead. Section opponents only, section tournament only. These two teams have played through all of it. And here they are, 40 minutes away from one of them being crowned section champs, getting yet another page written in the story of the Bengal and Cougar rivalry. Glad you're with us here on North Metro TV. Still cold after the first half. Play that way throughout the rest of the night. Jada Kennedy driving it down into the corner, turns into a goal kick as we switch right to left, go the Bengals in white, left to right. Go the Cougars in black and red.
Right now, I mean, the whole half is still to go, but right now it takes one. I mean, nobody was able to score in the first half. You get one goal on the board, it might be enough.
And it just changes the complexion of everything at that point, whoever that first team is.
Well, if it's Centennial, does Stadden stay back defensively, or does she move up like you talked about earlier? I thought that was a great point. And if it's the other way around, how much more aggressive can Centennial be?
This will be a corner coming up for the Cougars. A couple of these in the first half. Opposite end of the field, so Lauren Ollis will head down there to take this as normal.
Harper's
the
down there too.
Set.
This is one of those trickery plays, or maybe they love to just tap it to her and let her run around with a wide look to get to the top of the box.
That's where they head. Goes back to Ollis inside. She tries to send it home and is deflected away immediately by Natalie Bennett. And they'll do it with a deep throw-in towards the flag. This Bengal team has just continued to gain confidence throughout the year. Started well and then ran into a tough skid against a tough stretch of opponents. The shot from Ollis and the deflection from Bennett again. But I think those games against opponents who ended up with better than a .600 win percentage in their final 5 games of the season, you can tell, John, that coming into this section tournament, the confidence was there. It was all capped off by the 4-4 tie against the conference champs, Champlin Park. And they've been ready to take all comers. Andover was a team that was very even with them in a lot of different ways. And now the Cougars, one of the best teams in the state all year, and they're giving it everything they've got and staying even. This free kick goes to the Cougars here.
Yeah, a lot of physicality, and we've seen that throughout the first half. It's already starting back up in the second.
Bounding ball, first touch defensively by Stadden, top of the box. Chip back in. Try of a redirect there for Morgan O'Hearn. O'Hearn will grab the throw in. Chuck it right to the feet of Kaia Harper. Harper ends up down on the deck as Stadden pursuing from behind. Kaia thought she was going to get a call there. It never came.
You know, for as much as Kaia Harper gets knocked down during the season, I haven't seen her get up and kind of give that blatant, like, where was my call look that she did right there. And, you know, there was physicality. She got bumped from behind to knock her right down on the ground.
Saw that physicality reach a peak last year in the state tournament, I thought, against Kaia. I mean, you saw in the graphic we had in the pregame, people have known about Kaia Harper since she was in 8th grade and scoring 30-plus goals. She's not a new commodity. She'll take it wide right here, battling with Stadden. The cross going to the far side post, and the header just wasn't to be had. A little bit too high on the backside for Summer Francis. Cougars still pressuring. Allis the tap back to the front of the box. It's deflected down by the face of Claire Proul. Starts the Bengal attack to Sammy Proul back the other way.
Well, the physicality is used against Harper because she's not very big. She can be knocked down, and so teams know that. And she also doesn't back down. So she's always going to ask for the ball. She's always going to probably dribble it maybe longer than other people would. And she invites that challenge to a degree, that physical challenge.
Cougars keep matriculating their way up the field here. Just with throw-ins 3 in a row there. Finally down to Harper in space. Knocked away from her eventually. Kennedy in the middle. Talk about supporting cast players, not just the big goal she scored that we talked about, but Jada Kennedy, the way she can facilitate through the middle of the field, through traffic. It's gone a long way to set up the activities on the wings throughout the season of Stadden and Sammy Proul. Cougar throw in again. Same spot where they've had several here as we've got 4.5 gone in half number 2. Still looking for a goal. Harper running step for step with Stadden. That time taken down.
Great play. I think, you know, Stadden cleanly got the ball. That's what she went for, and that's what she connected with. So, yeah, Harper came down after the fact, but that's a good defensive play by Stadden. You see, you use her length to tap the ball first, and now reaches out, pokes it away.
Players will hit the deck in this game of soccer. That was the play on to the throw in for the Cougars.
Now, just to see Stadden make this transition, something that she hasn't done much of throughout the course of the year, to, you know, defense being the first priority for her, it's impressive to watch it come on the fly, or maybe it was practice over the last couple days. But they didn't start with it at the beginning of the game. They gave her an opportunity to try something offensively. Looked like she might have a chance to break through at some point. And then, as soon as Harper had even a glimpse of a chance, they rolled Stadden back to cover her.
Certainly hasn't been something we've seen throughout the balance of the year. Kendall Stadden being on the defensive side. Harper trying to go to work with Stadden orbiting her all the way side to side on the field. Steps around her. Harper with space, looking for a cross. Steps around another defender and puts it home. And eventually Stadden caught up to her. No, it was a third defender that caught up to her.
And that's the problem, right? We're crediting Stadden for her amazing work. Harper's still good enough. You get her one-on-one with a little bit of room. She was able to get around Stadden, but then there's a second defender. Then there's a third defender, and there was no one for Harper to pass it off to in the near vicinity. They want to give her space to work. They want to give her that space to create. But when there's just wave after wave of defender, that's a tall task for Kaia Harper.
Lauren Bosley that time. They got on the spot and saved the day. Cougars tap it all the way back to Lang. Tippy top of the box, sends it near side for Hamsky.
But we're seeing less of Lang here in the second half, and that's indicative of the fact that Centennial is pushing the ball. This is their play.
Up to Harper. She was onside and fires it just wide, but it was deflected, and we'll have a corner for the Cougars 7 minutes into half number 2, and it's already their second corner of the half.
I said this is their play because this is what they love to do. They love to loft it up to someone up ahead, let that person run under it with their speed. It's not necessarily always Harper, but it was in this case.
Cougars playing in their 7th straight section title game. They've been in 10 of 12 now as Alice sends it towards the front. The first touch was to a Bengal. Trickles all the way to the backside. Back out up front. Borton plays it back. Cougars trying to salvage the opportunity off that corner. The Bengals able to shut it down.
Hughes with some nice play out there.
Bengal free kick, back deep. Cougars winning 4 of the last 6 section title games they've appeared in. Cubes along the sideline dancing and dotting that ball away from the Bengals. Hamsky on the sideline. Watch out, Dan. Cougar throw-in coming up, or a Cougar free kick. Just that incredible run of dominance for the Cougars over the last 12 years or so under Coach Flohaug. 2009, they make that first state appearance. It's an opportunistic look for the Bengals, stopped up quickly by the Cougar defense. It's actually a quote from a few years ago, Coach Flohaug talking about how they continue to reload, and he says every year they just find what the strengths are and really drive home to her players as Harper looks to clear space in front again.
She leaves 2 defenders behind and then finds a wall of 3 or more.
Down in the box, and this time looks like this penalty will be coming.
Well, we don't know that yet. Let's give it a minute or 2.
He's not moving. He was very emphatic.
Okay.
Gives just a second to finish the point. Coach Flohaug saying, just really impressing upon her girls that find your strength and play to that. We've seen her teams be strong defensively and win games in state titles and section titles. That way, this year, it's been offense. And a lot of that, number 7, who's going to walk up now and in this section title game, scoreless, almost 10 minutes into the second half, try and give the Cougars the first lead of this game. And she will. Cougars in front first. And it's Kaia Harper at least one more time to give Centennial a lead.
Enlow chose right. I mean, she dove to the correct side. That was her right side. So right and right, but not long enough. She's not able to reach out to the extent that that ball was put towards the post.
The Kaia Harper PK. It was a penalty kick for the Blaine Bengals in their second round game. That gave them their first lead of that one after going down 1-0 to Andover.
And guess who's back at the top for this squad offensively? Stadden.
You need one now. She was the one that put home the PK in the semifinal round. Now, you're not playing even anymore. Harper to the far side wing looking for Francis. Tries to play it back. Taken away by Kennedy.
Yeah, good job by Kennedy jumping the route, as I said.
And let's be real clear, yes, doesn't have the size of Stadden. As down goes Harper again. Bosley took it away. Jada Kennedy doesn't have the size of Stadden, so you lose that on the defensive end. Throw in coming up for the Bengals. But Jada Kennedy's a very good defender, he said eventually 4 minutes later. But so you're losing something.
She's also physical. I mean, her and Shiloh seem to be the most physical players out there.
They've played a lot of defense when they haven't had Kendall Stadden helping out back there throughout the year to a team that is now sitting in the section final game. They can still defend, and they need to here, down a goal. Through the middle, the Cougars. Nobody home there, but Francis trying to run up on it and forces the Bengals to play it out along the far side left. Crowd trying to get back in it. Kennedy knocks down another Harper offering. The Bengals send it back deep again. Header to Stadden, surrounded by 4 defenders. Whistle here and a talking to and a free kick for the Bengals.
Any advantage Blaine can get right now is big. So that's a Blaine shove.
Came before that?
Must have.
Stadden's going to take the free kick. Stadden could put this into the back of the net with a water bottle in her other hand. From here, we'll see what they decide to do. Towards that back post.
That looked pretty. It looked like she was fighting for that upper 90, but pushed it wide. Already 13 minutes gone here in the second half, and what an advantage it is for Centennial to have the lead.
What an advantage it is for us to have all of our HD cameras and our brilliant crew down there.
Yeah, they showed off that it wasn't actually upper 90. I mean, she was right down on the ground by the time that ball hit, so she was trying to sneak it in along the post on the far side.
Harper stops on a dime and reverses course just as quick. Sprinting up, drawing that second defender again. A deep throw in coming for the Cougars.
That second defender was Stadden, who flew back to get involved in that play.
Kennedy took it away. And to boot it out and fight another day. Cougars working towards the front of the box wide. Again, Harper crossing to that far side post, looking for the redirect. It never came. Who deflected? The Bengals did. It's a corner kick for Atlas and the Cougars.
I like that cross quite a bit, but nobody was able to read it clean enough. And I think when Harper's at the next level, crosses like that are really going to be deadly when she's got players around her that are all on that same talent level.
Hollis drives it low, and Kendall Stadden, I believe, got the foot on that first.
She's gone low a couple of times.
Cougars keep the pressure on. Kennedy's back there. Keeps in low clean.
I don't think, yeah, he's going to keep it down on this end because they could not get to that ball in time.
Pressure maintained by the Cougars. Hamsky. Hamsky will chip it. Yard and a half into that box, bounding around. Stadden has to boot it away. Bengal header drives it deeper towards the corner. And you said it in the first 5 minutes, John. It's been true the rest of the way, too. Not just because they got the goal, but the Cougars have kept this field tilted in their favor more often than not here in half number 2. Hamsky.
and I'm not certain what the adjustment is. I mean, Stadden for Blaine is playing up near the top now, but I haven't necessarily seen exactly what Centennial did that's allowed them to control the ball as much as they have offensively.
Bengals a chance, though, to flip that script with Clausen dropping it into Proul. Proul had it taken right away by Ali Hamsky. Francis sprinting up there. Throw in for the Cougars. Cubes drives it down towards the front of the box. Comes right back out. She'll have to try and do it again. Nearly the same spot. Working up along the sideline with Monson. Cougars fine with this, leading 1-0. Kennedy flies in to try and break up the monotony there. The Cougars yo-yoing along that far sideline. Up to Proul. Taken away by Cubes.
Ooh, I really thought that was going to be Centennial ball. Stadden's got a strong leg. I mean,
that's how she scored those games in the regular season meeting between these two teams. Take much space at all. Driven deep. Francis to try and sprint to it. She's going to lose that battle to Bosley. Got there close enough to force Bosley to send it out of bounds. Cougars playing in tight quarters over there. Harper is switched to that left side now.
well, she doesn't mind being on the left because she likes to curl her way to the top, because that means her right foot is kind of the dominant foot in terms of turning and firing a shot in.
It's taken away by Bosley, and will be a Bengal free kick now. Again, anything headed down the field, the Cougars quickly able to stop it near midfield. Couldn't quite turn it all the way back this time as Janessa Bennett fires it ahead to Stadden. Once behind the back. Now just gets a one-on-one up to Proul. Proul can be effective from this corner.
Ooh.
And that's going to be a free kick. Going against. Wow, I thought they were going to get the bodying up on Sammy Proul, but they call Sammy Proul.
I kind of did too. I was a little, maybe Proul got a hand in there and tugged on something, because I was surprised that Hamsky, after getting in front and deflecting that ball away, didn't just use her speed to go straight for the ball, but instead tried to challenge it, looked like physically. But there is that chance that we couldn't see some hand play in there from Bengals.
Coming up on the midway point of half number 2, a penalty kick goal scored by Kaia Harper. The only thing on the board so far. Cougars clamping down on that back end. Skierka and company. Looking for Stadden. Stadden takes it away. Settling in the corner herself, one-on-one. Battling with his Skierka and finally takes the shot and rolls it out past the goal line. See, that did deflect off a Cougar, so a Bengal corner. A crucial chance here as we hop under 20 minutes to go for Coach Zachman's squad. Proul to the front. And it was a beauty, but the first touch was to the Cougars. Back to Proul, though. Try and stick it in again. Fires it just wide past the near side post. Angling it on net. Just couldn't get it to go. Sammy Proul, an excellent couple of offerings there for the Bengals. Down a goal.
Exactly what I was going to say. Yes, none of them went in, but Proul did what she was supposed to do in those situations. Beautifully lofted ball to the front of the net on the first one, and then this second one, she tries to cross it in, and if Stadden can sneak in there, almost any deflection with her head's going to put it in.
Bengals now trying to turn that into more pressure. Claire Proul slices that one through everybody and out for a goal kick. 19 minutes remain. Regulation in this 2020 season will crown a section champ here tonight. Cougars hunting yet another in this tremendous run for Coach Flohaug, trying to make it 3 straight. Recent years. 2 straight, excuse me. Lost back in 2018 and 2017 to Maple Grove.
Just the presence, it almost felt like. If I'm a player on this field, I don't know what's happening, to be honest with you.
And now maybe the officials will come back together and get this one right.
Well, they'll come back together, but from the press box and from the stands, it's been hard to understand the calls that have come in this match tonight.
Both ways.
Yeah, it's whatever I have thought it was going to be, it's been the opposite on 90% of the calls.
Both teams having to deal with it and try and play through. Right now it's the Bengals on the short end trying to find that tying goal. We'll get another whistle. And
who got knocked down there?
that was Hamsky, or excuse me, that was Proul flying in.
Allis just smiles and walks away. So here's Allis. She gets hit from behind and falls down, and it's Blaine ball. And the Blaine fans chant, "You can't do that." Nobody knows what they can and can't do at this point.
A little rough. Lang to midfield. 16:45 to go. Guys in blue aren't going to change. Summer Francis running up on it. Bounding ball goes wide through traffic.
That was
Francis. That was, yes, Sarah Strading.
And Strading, another player, 5 goals during the regular season, who is the type that could find the back of the net if given the opportunity. That's her best chance of the night.
Cougars thought there was going to be a corner. Coach Flohaug seeing this. Just a tremendous run, as we've seen. That state title that came in 2016, a 3rd place finish, a runner-up, 7 times section champs, appearing in 10 of the last 12 section title games. Look at that win percentage over the last 12 years. Just incredible what they've done here. Not to mention the conference championships in there, and we've said it. It's not just teams in this section that are in that Northwest Suburban Conference, but that Northwest Suburban Conference year in, year out gives us great high school girls soccer.
Well, yeah, those numbers are really impressive when you think about the competition that's here. You know, this isn't a pushover conference and section. The fact that they've had to battle Maple Grove almost every one of those years, whose numbers are similar. I mean, they finally got over the hump and got their first title recently, but throughout, I mean, almost all of those championships, it's felt like have come against Maple Grove to get out of the section.
Cougars up a goal, 15 minutes to play in regulation. Skierka knifes around.
Ooh, they had Strading on sides, but the pass ahead was a little too strong.
Contact again near midfield.
I'm with him this time.
Yeah, that one was pretty hard to miss.
Hollis with the push down.
Time continues to tick down, but as we saw, Bengals never quite done in a 2-2 tie earlier this week against Andover. Still kept battling and scored their game-winning goal that put them here in this game with less than 30 seconds remaining.
Ooh.
Offside.
Oh, Harper just ahead. Let's get another look at that if we can.
Cougar fans didn't love it. The flag went up almost immediately. That guy's flag. Bengals looking to put it right there at the foot of number 10. Talk a lot about her getting help and needing help and other players setting her up, but right now, this is going to happen. You're going to want one from number 10 to try and tie it up. Harper, meanwhile, hunting a potential dagger. Leaves it to Nelson. Sends it into the box, looking at straighting. Nelson runs up on it again physically.
I think one of the things you could hear yelling on the field, and I believe, I'm not 100%, I believe it was Harper screaming, find her, find her, find her. So send that ahead to straighting. Sometimes the Centennial team leans on Harper maybe too much, and she has to verbally say, there's a better opportunity. Look for the other player out ahead to get them the ball.
Harper down, straight on here, out of the box, but a free kick. Dangerous spot here.
Another look. Stadden comes over. Not a lot there from Stadden, to be honest.
Feet tangled up. 12:20 to go.
The hip check at best, I'd say.
One goal so far came on a penalty. That one, Harper tries to keep it low. Doesn't get a rebound. Cougars, though, keeping the pressure on. Looking for Strading on that far side, top of the box. It bounds away.
I mean, you've got Strading who's coming off the bench, and they're trying to get it to her as much as possible, asking her to run like crazy right now since she's got the fresher legs.
Kennedy trying to change the field. The offense hadn't flexed back there yet, though, after the free kick. A little easier for the Cougars to hold form at midfield. Nifty work through the middle of the field for Ellie Nahian. .18 to go. Kennedy cuts it off.
That's big, right? Because we've talked about her shadowing Harper. She wasn't necessarily shadowing her, but that stop got it to stay away from Harper.
Sammy Proul a little early to pull that trigger. Looking for Stadden on the near side. Never picked up by Lang, so forcing a few extra seconds off that clock. That was eventually pressured her to do it. Thought that last one was going to develop into something for the Bengals. Now they've got it, same spot again. Trying to go wide right, maybe looking for that extra pass back into Stadden. Never made it to Naheem. This time she'll drive it towards the corner, looking for Stadden, too strong. Cougar throw in deep. We're already inside of 10.5 remaining in half number 2. One goal from the penalty mark for the Cougars here early in the second half. Standing up thus far. Harper ahead of Kennedy. Ripped away by the last defender back. Who made that last defensive play.
Nice touch.
See her just booted away. Ian had it in the middle. for the Bengals. Out and Cougar ball. Under 10. Bengal fans more than restless. Bengal ball here. The way this first half played out, you thought maybe one would do it. But you know, in 9 minutes, the Bengal team find a lot of opportunities. Nahian looking to go wide for Proul, came up short, and Hamsky bats it away. Knocked down by Shillow. Go wide to her right if she wants. Instead, gets the help coming up. Knocked away. Cougar defense so sure. How does he get into that attacking third? The near sideline and out. Bengal throwing, 8.5 to go nearly. Got it right back to Harper. Kennedy tries to knock it away from Harper. Couldn't quite settle it. Cool as it ripped away by Hamsky. Back up on the near side for Nelson. Whistling on the Bengals. 8 minutes to go.
Of course, Centennial now in that mode of there's no reason to rush.
Long drive. Down into a lot of traffic. Cougars again don't force it. That's a tough ball, and Lang make it in low. Keeps a close eye on Bordson's offering and lets it go wide. She was there if she needed to be. Earns the goal kick with it.
A smart move, though, to track it that way. She had her hand out towards the post to make sure she could feel that if she came in contact. And once you know you're wide of it, then you can let the ball go.
7 more minutes. Hollis had that one run up on her gloved hand. Shillow chipping it right to Stadden. Couldn't have thrown it to her any better. Worked out to the far sideline, but not all the way out. So they'll gain a little field, and they say that deflected off the Bengals, so it'll be a Cougar throw-in. That was Cubes, ran all the way down there. Forced him to make that call. Goal kick coming up for the Cougars. Take us inside of 6 minutes remaining. Centennial so far 14-0 outscoring their opponents in this 3-round section tournament with under 6 to go. 10-0, 3-0. And now clinging to that slimmest of margins, 1-0.
What a great time to be playing your best defensive ball if you're Centennial. They started the season early with a couple of shutouts, but after that, they gave up goals fairly regularly. Not, maybe plural isn't the right word when you talk about a game-by-game basis, but overall, they allowed a goal or more in a number of games, mostly wins, obviously, since they've only suffered 1 loss. But once the postseason came around, they have locked it down to this point.
That stretch after they had their lone loss to Champlain Park. In the next 7 games, all of which were victories, they gave up just 5 goals. Outscored their opponents 32-5. And it hasn't been that 32 that's carried over here against this very, very good Blaine team. But this defense has made it so one could potentially be enough. Harper wants another. She's surrounded by another defender instead. Out off Francis. Deflected off the Cougars. Bosley through the middle. Too strong for Stadden. Sticker let that one play deep, rather Cubes let that one play deep. Back to the middle.
It's odd because this second half has felt way more like Centennial soccer that we've seen all year long.
Strading, all alone and onside. Strading, shoots, and may have just kept it for the Cougars.
Play that I was just saying, they've looked more like the Centennial we've seen all season in the second half. That's the play they love to run. Loft it up, let that person make a play on it, and Strading had all kinds of room to work with, and part of that is that decoy factor, right? Most of the defense probably trying to track, where is Kaia Harper? Where is Kaia Harper? And they're not paying attention to Strading in off the bench, who's left alone and does damage against Enlow.
Strading with her 6th of the season. That ties her for 3rd most on the team, just behind Harper and Alice.
Well, just behind Alice, but way behind Harper.
Well, correct. Only behind. And the Cougars trying to cling to that 1-0 lead. Might have been a little bit of a sigh of relief on that far side. 2 in 3:15, a tall task for anybody, and a team that's been playing defense like the Cougars have. That is a sheer face cliff to try and come back from in that amount of time.
What a strange season this is, because normally, you know, only one team finishes truly happy at the end of the season. Maybe you had a good run, maybe you had a down start to your regular season, but you got a playoff win, but everyone loses except for the state champion. Nah, 3rd place, I guess you could give them something there, but they're still disappointed that they weren't in that championship game. But this season, you're gonna have a whole collection of teams that finished on top, in a sense.
16, right? I mean, 8 sections in the 2 classes, right?
So how does it work then? Do we give it to the top-ranked team at the end of the season like they used to do with college football?
Yeah, like an AP ranking, a voted state champion.
Remember, this Centennial team was in that sort of ranking, number 4, coming into tonight's action.
To see if they become the highest ranked section winner. As any other upsets have been along the way. Give them that crown. Under 2 minutes to go. The Strading goal took the air out of the balloon for a potential heroic moment for a 2nd straight game for the Blaine Bengals.
Right now, I mean, still the Harper Miss Soccer finalist, Kaia Harper, her goal is the game-winning goal. I mean, she got this team ahead 1-0 on that penalty.
Bengals able to drive it deep. And a whistle and a long delay in making the call.
I think that ball went out is what they're saying. No, sorry. The free kick way back there.
Off somebody's hand. So time doesn't stop, so that's still working for the Cougars. This will take us under a minute. How will Stadden make this interesting here? Too strong. Maybe the last best gasp. That was deflected, so they'll say that's a corner. Lang and company want their...
Who got up for this? Oh, maybe.
Would have been
Harper.
Cubes and Harper up front. Low bounder. Cougars take the first touch. Held in by Kennedy. Kennedy has it knocked away by Alice. It'll trickle out of bounds. A throw in for the Bengals. 22 seconds to go. Looking at an 8th shutout this season. And this one to give them a section crown for the Centennial Cougars. A 2nd straight. An 8th for their head coach on her way out the door. And the Centennial Cougars frigid conditions against their rival. Victorious again, and they're section champs for a second straight year. 2-0 over the Blaine Bengals. And 8 shutouts, an 8th straight victory this season. And for their head coach, an 8th section title over the last 12 seasons for the Centennial Cougars, your 2020 Section 7-2A champs. The Bengals, John, gave them a tremendous run in that first half. Made them work for everything. We were scoreless. We got the penalty that turns into the game winner. But this Cougar team, as they have been all season long, extremely good, and they finish off a great run and end a tremendous season for this Bengal team. Not the end for number 10 right there, certainly, but a great game here in this section title game.
Very fun to watch, and what twists and turns we took, right? I mean, surprising to see Blaine come out aggressive the way they did in the first half, and then see them settle back into more of a defensive plan to try and beat Harper that way. Scoreless going into the break. Second half, Centennial starts out strong, and they really maintained that and got back to their regular game plan throughout the remainder of the second half, and it helped lift them to a 2-0 win.
The capper coming from Sarah Strading with just inside of 4 minutes to go. Bengals smiles with their second place, their runner-up trophy. And there's the Cougars, the jump of joy as they'll finish on top with a win here in 2020.
Congratulations to both teams.
This expedited post-game award ceremony. This might be something to carry on past COVID times.
Not going to get complaints from these two guys. The Cougars, they don't care how they get the medals, how they get the plaque, how fast it is, how long it takes. They can get used to this. And every autumn, it's automatic that the Centennial Cougars are right back here fighting for one of these. And Coach Flohaug, she steps away, gets a title. Kaia Harper and the other seniors, highly decorated with wins on wins on wins for this program, will step away with a section title. The goalkeeper, Jenna Lang, an 8th shutout this season. Sydney Nelson, Brittany Bordson, Summer Francis, Morgan O'Hearn, Lindsay Wilson, Sophia Skierka, and Abigail Bondi, the backup goalkeeper, your seniors that going out on a high note for Centennial.
The Centennial Cougars were unscored upon throughout the championship.
That was nice to see Blaine posing for their picture. A lot of times there's kind of a dejected feel for that second place team in the section, and the Bengals, I think we're proud of the work that they've done to get here, upsetting a team to make it to the championship, or to get past a really quality team to get here to the championship, and then to play step for step with this Centennial team for the vast majority of the match. Really impressive game by them in a loss. So hats off to them on a spectacular season as well.
Tongue gets stuck to a cold victory medal. They're putting them in their mouths, John. I'm worried that we've got a Christmas story situation developing down there.
Depends on where they've been storing the medals.
Okay.
If the medals are cold, then that
cold
could be a
is.
problem. But if they kept those warm, they should be good.
Yeah, so I'm not sure, but they don't really care what's going on right now with the weather. All they know is that they've got a victory and they're ready to roll into the off-season with a section title. Blythe Whaley is downstairs efforting some interviews from the victors.
So again, we thought maybe it might be someone we wouldn't expect. I don't know that Strading would qualify for that with her second goal. Harper, obviously, the player we thought would be most likely to score for Centennial. She does, and she's a player that has joined Blythe Whaley many, many times in her high school career, and seems only fitting that it'll be one more time tonight.
Yeah, as we talked about, as we planned for this one, sometimes we try to get creative in the regular season and don't always talk about the same players. But this one you had to talk about Harper, you had to talk about Stadden, and it was Harper who got the Cougars on the board. And Harper, who helps lead the Cougars with her 26th goal of the season to this section title. 26 goals to cap it off. Her tremendous career at the high school level, potentially a Miss Soccer award winner. We'll see how that all shakes out. But 139 goals with the one tonight in her career.
I bet there's a bag of trolley gummies for her right around the corner.
Those would have been frozen here.
And so
trying to get Jenna Lang over, just to tell you how things are going, because yes, Jenna Lang is not all on the keeper when you get those shutouts, John, but you know they're the captain back there of that defense. They help make things go. And it was the defense tonight that turned into those medals for the Centennial Cougars. Section champs. I never knew it said section champs on there. Another great shot. As we've got this downtime, it's been a week of, I don't even know what the right words are, but big ups to our entire crew for battling through. And we'll have more of this with football, of course, still playing on here. But the weather has not made this easy for anybody. And our crew's been here every step of the way, especially those outside getting those shots. Bringing you this tremendous pictures of what has now been capped with a Cougar run to a section title.
Are they getting cold now that they're standing still? They were moving around to stay warm. They seem set.
So the Cougars ready to talk about a win. As Blythe is standing by with the victorious Cougars. Blythe?
Of course, Kaia Harper, one that we've enjoyed talking to numerous times over the course of your career, but 139 goals. Has that sunk in yet, Kaia?
I mean, kind of. Obviously, I couldn't have done it without my team. All those goals come from the hard work of my teammates, so I thank them a lot. But for them getting me the chances, I'm just grateful to even have this season. So, yeah.
So high-pressure PK situation today. What was going through your head as you stepped up to the line?
I mean, it was a lot of pressure. The Blaine fans were putting a lot of pressure on me, but taking them a lot in my career, and so it's just a process and just a continuous 1, 2, 3, and then hit it, and that's exactly what I did and buried it. So,
well, it worked, definitely. Yeah. What has this Cougar program meant to you, Kaia?
I mean, I've developed a lot, and to play with these girls, like my best friends, is obviously so fun to me, and for them always being there for me, so it's really developed me as a player too.
Well, we're thrilled you're staying inside Minnesota to move on to play for the Gophers. What are you most looking forward to here the next year?
Obviously playing with my sister again, playing with her my entire career, and I don't know, just stepping up to the next level and seeing what I can do, and just meeting new people at the U, and just excited overall for the college level.
Well, great job, Kaia. Amazing career, but thanks so much.
Thank you.
Sarah Strading, come on over here. Another goal scorer here in this championship game. Sarah, how did you get yourself open to sink this one today?
Their D was wide open, and then Brooklyn was looking on the other side. I yelled out to her. She made a beautiful pass right in the middle of the defense, and I ran through and got the goal.
You have another year to be able to come back here for the Cougars, but what has this season meant to you to be able to play this year?
It really put us at, we had to put a lot of work into this season coming in from Corona, and, we just put a lot of work, teamwork at practices and games. There's a lot of teamwork.
But today, to be able to get this done, what was Coach saying at halftime to get you guys revved up to come back in the second half?
We came to this game, the first half was not so good, but after that, in the halftime, coach is like, we got to get our head in the game, and I think we did that perfectly in the second half.
Well, congrats on your goal. Very fun victory for your team. Thanks so much, Sarah.
Thank you.
Jenna Lang, to be able to come out senior year, get the shutout to end it. How does this feel today?
Amazing, like a dream come true.
So again, halftime for you guys. You know, you're sitting 0-0. What was running through your head to be able to come back in the second half and keep that clean slate?
Just that we have to come out stronger than we did the first half because they started really strong, but we just need to start stronger.
So this career you've had here at Centennial, how much has that meant to you to be able to play soccer with these ladies?
Everything. They're my second family and I wouldn't trade them for the world. I'm really glad this was my last team at high school.
Well, Jenna Lang, congrats on your clean sweep here today, but fun victory and great season.
Thank you.
Well, we have a very exciting announcement. We are going to talk to Coach Flohaug. Jenna, if you could help me grab Coach Flohaug, we're going to talk to her because she has had such a huge impact on this program. She's in the middle of a conversation because she is just that great. Can I grab Coach Flohaug here really quick? Coach Flohaug.
Yeah.
An amazing career you've had here for the Centennial Cougars. 20 years being here around the program, 17 as a head coach. What are the feelings coming into a game like today?
Yeah, I thought actually after coming into the game, it was another soccer game. I mean, it was another championship. I'm grateful, obviously, to have had as many as we've had here. But I thought after the game, I think it just hasn't sunk in yet because I haven't had the emotions that I thought I might have after the game. But it's been a pretty busy end of the game with talking to different reporters and taking pictures. And I think it hasn't really sunk in that this is it.
How did your team overcome this Blaine squad at halftime?
Yeah.
What did you say to them to set them straight?
Yeah, it was tough at halftime. Blaine was amazing. They had way more energy than us. Their bench was loud the entire time. Their fans were cheering, and we had nothing. And so I was really nervous, and I talked to my team at halftime that I feel like we're playing at Blaine. I don't feel like this is a home game. And I told my bench, you guys need to stand. You guys are not sitting. You're going to cheer from the sideline. The girls on the field need to feel your energy because right now Blaine's playing with 12. You know, the 11 girls plus all their fans. And I really felt that during the game that they had that extra player, and I thought that made a big difference in the first half. And in the second half, I felt that it felt different. I felt the energy. I felt that our players were playing with like a different step. Getting that goal, it took a little while. But it changed everything because then Kendall ended up playing offense for Blaine, which then opened up our offense a little bit. She's just a dynamic player. So when Blaine had to do that, obviously, my back line had to think differently. I moved my 6, Brittany Bordson, to man-mark Kendall. And so you're just, you coach on the fly, and it's different, I think, than football, basketball. I think of any other sport that has timeouts, and we don't have that. We're just yelling as coaches. We're subbing players off to talk to them about how you have to change things on the field. And I think a lot of times people don't understand that about soccer, that once a goal is scored, coaches' strategies change, and our girls have to have a soccer IQ to be able to do some of that on the field on their own by themselves. So it can be stressful.
How proud are you of it? These ladies, but not just them, all of the ladies that you've coached around?
Yeah, I am super prideful just being a teacher here, a coach here. I live here, and so I just have a lot of pride for Centennial. I'm excited about my next step to be an assistant activities director because I can be prideful of all of our sports and not always just talk about soccer. But I think obviously soccer will always have a special place in my heart, and it'll be sad next year come August. And whoever takes over, obviously I'll be watching. My daughter, my son will both be playing for the high school next year, so I'll still be around.
Ginger, we thank you so much for the impact you've had here at the Cougars soccer, and we are so grateful to have your time here. But thank you so much, Ginger. Take care with the rest of everything in your life.
Yeah.
We're excited.
Thank you.
Well, JW, this has been a very fun playoff game, but we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Blythe, and thanks to Coach Flohaug and the players. Kaia Harper, John, we knew coming in she was going to be a big part of what they did. She finally got that Kendall Stadden shadow off of her back once she scored that goal. And as Coach said, the second half just looked completely different, and you had mentioned it in the scheme of the game, too. That was a different Cougar team that came out and dominated in the final 40 minutes.
Harper getting that penalty kill, I mean, it was the thing that really broke things open.
Harper.
Even though they were playing better soccer to start the second half, getting that score really seemed to make the difference for them, and it changed what Blaine was trying to do as well. It sealed the win. Just one goal is all it took really to seal the win, even though they got a second later.
Harper's not going anywhere. She's just going right to the U that we talked about. Folks in Minnesota will get to see her play soccer for a long time. For everyone with North Metro TV, including John Haddon, Blythe Wheeler, and our entire crew, I'm JW Cox. 2-0. The Cougars beat the Bengals. They win another section title for Coach Flohaug and this program. And keep rolling on. You watched all of it right here on North Metro TV. Good night, everybody.